the healthiest relationships are the ones where each person feels like they have the better end of the deal. Now, if you want to find a healthy relationship like this, you should watch out for these early signs that indicate a relationship might not last. Number one, you feel disrespected. This one is about being talked down to and feeling like you can't really voice your opinion without being judged. The things that you do, the way that you are, maybe it's the way you dress, the way you do your hair, the things you decide to partake in. All of this could be heavily judged by your partner, right? It's a person who doesn't respect you, who doesn't appreciate who you are as an individual. So I've been in relationships in the past where we were very different people. And on paper, I thought they were an exceptionally cool person. You seem to be a good fit. We have similar interests. There's certain things that we just really connect well on. But when it got down to it, in a practical sense, in real life, the dynamic was super off. This person wanted to dress and act and be and eat and do things in a very, very specific way. And I wanted to do it in a different way. And even just the seriousness you have about things. Maybe one person is more serious, one person's more playful. Maybe one person is really type A, the other person's more type B. There could be infinite number of cases, right, of how this conflicts. And if you don't align with that person, there's the possibility that maybe they could lose respect for you because they think their way is the best way. It doesn't mean they're necessarily an unhealthy or a toxic or bad, evil person. It just means you're incompatible or you're different. Sometimes you can make it work. Other times it's a lot of pain. The second early sign that your relationship won't last is that you don't have a friend in your partner. This one was something I was absolutely missing in past relationships. It's not that I didn't see them as friendly people or that I didn't have fun around them. It's that I didn't feel like they were that best friend. It's not just, you're cool enough, or this is fun for a summer fling or whatever. It's much more of, do I see that I have a best friend in this person? Someone who you just want to exist in their presence. You want to be near them. It feels so fun, so uplifting. You know the feeling, right? You can't get enough of that person and you always have fun. Whether you're sitting there doing absolutely nothing or you're having the time of your lives doing some crazy, cool, awesome thing. And I think a lot of people confuse love with emotional hunger and this feeling that they're really starved for attention, for partnership, for being with somebody who understands the deepest depths of their brain, their soul, their heart, everything. In addition to this, I think a lot of people confuse sex with love, where they could be physically very attracted to somebody. They could have really good sexual chemistry. But the problem is that does not translate to relationship success. It's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the whole picture. A lot of people tend to mistake that and see that as, oh, when I do this, when I partake in this, it makes me feel like I am loved, like I am valued, like I am worthy of receiving. Somebody doesn't just have me, but I have somebody as well. It's a really tricky spot to be in, and I think countless people fall into this trap. They mistake sex for love. It's not the same thing. They're very, very different. I've made a whole video on this in the past before, but something to consider, right? If the early signs in your relationship are pointing to this, pay really close attention to what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. Is it just there because it's fun? Do you find yourself talking about anything else? Or does it just go back to the sex, the romance, the intimacy, that side of the relationship? The third early sign that your relationship might not last is that manipulation is very common. This is about the guilt trips, making you feel like you're always in the wrong. If you're in this bucket, you will feel confused all the time. You'll do something, you'll think it's a good thing, or you'll think it's a harmless, meaningless, whatever thing, and they freak out. They blow up. They try and spin it on you. They make it seem like you're the problem, like you're always the issue, like you're messing up. This very well may be the case. I'm not saying that 100% of the time that it's on them, right? Relationships are a two-way street, and sometimes you're the dick. Sometimes you're the person messing it up. It doesn't mean it's always the case, but it could very well be the case. But pay very close attention to how you're interacting with them. Do they often try to mix words to confuse situations? Is there a sense of ambiguity of like, I don't know what they're feeling, I don't know where we're sitting? It's very confusing. It's very unclear. They could use phrases that make you feel less than. There's just a lot of manipulation, a lot of controlling, trying to force you to do certain things. They could also withhold certain things. There are people who withhold affection, who withhold sex unless they give them something. Blackmailing. You do this and I'll give you that. Not a good early sign. The fourth early sign that your relationship might not last is that you both merge identities. I've seen this countless times. So many people, countless friends, people in high school was where I saw it the most. But this is the friend that they get in a relationship and they completely get wiped off the face of the earth. They just disappear into relationship land. Everything they do, everything they talk about, their whole identity becomes the other person, the relationship, their love. There's nothing wrong with loving your partner. There's nothing wrong with being admirable towards your partner and bragging about them and just really enjoying that love. But there are healthy boundaries. There are different areas you could sit within that really help people see how much do you actually love this person and how healthy is it? Do you make time for other people? Do you make time for your friends, your relationships, your family, your hobbies? Or is everything just together? You become one identity. There's no sense of individuals or one person, one unit. We form into the same thing. This is like merging every single thing, every single interest, every single hobby. You should spend a lot of time with your partner. You should be with them and you should enjoy things together. But it's critically important that you still maintain an individual identity within that relationship. That doesn't mean you isolate. That doesn't mean you push away. That doesn't mean that you force them to step out of things that you're interested in or that you're doing. It just means that you have a healthy boundary of, I'm still me, I'm still Jeff, and you're still you. You're still the person that you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. We're living two lives that are molded together as a team. We're doing this at the same time, moving together. So a lot of people fall in this trap. They get completely consumed by all the rush of feelings and hormones and, oh my gosh, the love, the romance, the intimacy, the fun, the laughs. The honeymoon phase is very, very powerful. So the people who have done this, pretty much most of the time I've seen that they don't end up making it. So pay very close attention to this. It is extremely hard when you're in it, but it's extremely easy to see when you're observing it. So be self-aware, ask yourself the questions, really try to take off the rose-colored glasses because it's so easy to get caught up in this. The fifth early sign that your relationship won't last is that you can't be your full self. There's so much I could say about this one, but it really is about acceptance, not feeling alone in the relationship, feeling like you can be 100% yourself, not 90, not 95%, not 99% yourself, 100% yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. It really comes down to psychological safety. Can I be around this person and not be judged, not be critiqued or cut down because of something I like or don't like, whatever it may be? I had a period of time where when I was dating, I really wanted to get the other person to like me. And that's completely wrong. Forcing the best of you to come out and hiding the things that you might be more insecure about or embarrassed about or think, hey, that's not that cool, or they might not be interested, or this person is like this, so I need to emulate that. I need to copy that. The goal of this date is for them to get them to like me. Completely wrong, completely backwards, not at all good. And it's no wonder those relationships didn't last, right? Because all I did was try to bring forth what I thought would be the things that they liked the most. So I would have great first impressions, I would have great interactions early on, but then you're not your full self. You're wearing a mask. So what this means in a practical sense, if you're super into whatever, insert hobby here. Let's say you're really into rock climbing, right? You're super naturey, outdoorsy. You want to live outside and camp and be outside all the time. You meet someone who's very prim and proper and clean, and indoors is my thing. I don't like outside. I don't do bugs. I don't do the sun, this and that. But you're extremely attracted to them. There are other traits that you find very admirable or exciting. Don't change and hide that piece of you to try and win them over. I've done it. I've seen this countless times in the past. It doesn't work out well. It is a very early sign that things won't work, because you can only keep that up for so long. When you go on one date, when you go on 3 dates, 5 dates, yeah, sure, you can push that stuff down. You can push it to the side. You can put your best foot forward. But what happens after a year? What happens after 5 years? What happens if you're in a long-term committed relationship? There's going to be so much resentment, frustration. Just aren't the same person. You can't get along. You can't invest in the same things in the same way with each other. Maybe you're super nerdy and you're into video games, board games, whatever, and the other person's not. You can't hide that. You can't stuff that down and shove it away. Maybe you're super into sports, or maybe you're really into music and you create music and you write music and your whole life is music. If you're not dating somebody who's all about music or that thing, you're in for a long road of frustration. The sixth early sign that your relationship might not last is that there's fights all the time. This one is self-explanatory. You're just arguing all the time. There's bickering, huge blowout fights. This should be the honeymoon phase. This should be the phase where you are more accepting of all the flaws. You overlook things very easily. But if it's early on and your friends are noticing it, you're noticing it, they trigger your nervous system. You're in fight or flight all the time. There's this huge sense of anxious feelings. You're uneasy. Maybe it affects your sleep, your eating habits. Maybe you're a bit more tense as an individual than you normally are. These are things that your body will absolutely notice. Your body keeps score. Listen to your gut. Trauma gets stored in the body, and sometimes people store trauma in very dangerous, unhealthy ways. They might have grown up in environments that were extremely unhealthy. Abusive relationships, yelling, screaming, fighting, all the things. When you grow up in an environment like that, your brain tells you this is how you give and receive love. This is how you ought to connect with other people. And this is the environment that you should be a part of. So when they're part of something healthy, it's boring. They'll start fights just for the sake of getting in a fight. And then when they get older and they mature, they hit puberty, right? They go through life, their brain reprocesses relationships. So the same way they gave and received love when they were a child is the same way that they see romantic relationships as they get older. So it's really dangerous, it's really unhealthy, and it's an incredibly frustrating thing to deal with as you navigate these relationships. So early on, if you're fighting a lot, there's a lot of bickering, butting heads, might be a sign. The seventh early sign that your relationship won't last is that you don't get along with each other's friends. This one, again, it's exactly what it sounds like, and it extends beyond just the friends. It could be family members. It could be, any important person in their lives. We've all heard of the nightmare family member, the nightmare friend, the person that you just can't get along with, no matter what you do. You could be the nicest person in the world. You could try to bend and flex who you are to try to just be civil, to meet the bare minimum, and it doesn't work. Nothing seems to be helpful. So however much you try, it doesn't seem to work. It's only going to cause more problems in the future. Yes, there are cases where people may build friendships with them, or it's a slow burn, or maybe they get to know you more and things work out a little bit better. But if you're just straight up completely different people and you don't get along, that is a very, very clear warning sign early on in the relationship, because no matter how good it feels now with the person, you're like, we'll forget about that. It's no big deal now. It's probably going to be a big deal later. Eventually, it's not going to be fine. Strong relationships involve individuals that have shared values and worldviews. You each enhance each other's lives. The other person brings value to your life in multiple ways. You just want to exist in their presence. It's important to remember that even if these signs are present, there still could be exceptions. It doesn't mean that someone is immediately toxic or gaslighting or whatever just because they're demonstrating some of these traits or behaviors or these things are present in your relationship. There are so many nuances. It's impossible for me to create a video that perfectly encapsulates every person's situation. In general, these are things that tend to lead to reasoning of maybe that's an area you should explore. Maybe that's a conversation you should have, because the things that you're avoiding the most are most likely the conversations that need to be had. There are people who are so amazing, so great. I've dated people that were very healthy, very supportive, really great people and partners, but we ended up breaking up because we were incompatible. Does it mean I hate them? Absolutely not. Does it mean that they're bad, evil people? No way. They can find somebody who is compatible with them, who aligns with them in their views, and it's the same for me and for everyone else. So don't go around just torching relationships and blaming everybody else, because there were a lot of problems that I had. There were a lot of bad things that I did, and there were some things that the other person did. So the more you can understand this and humble yourself, look inward and self-reflect, the better you can learn and adjust, so that when you do meet the right person, you'll be fully ready for it. If you found this video helpful, any support would be greatly appreciated. I want to give a special shout out to the biggest channel supporters: Aaron Frenick, Erica, Carolina, Nick Olmedo, Sunny Sue, and Tony Martinez. I seriously can't overstate how grateful I am for you guys and all the support you provided for this community. Thank you so much. Remember to take care of yourselves. Remember to take care of those around you. And for all things psychology to help you think, feel, and perform better, stay tuned right here on Psychology of Living.